This is Business Class on Your Money.
Coming up on tonight's show, we find out how Sir Richard Branson's championing in-flight meditation. We go inside one of our favourite airport hotels. We look at the latest in hotel technology around the world and much more. Before we do that, here's this week's travel news. In travel news this week, Qantas and KLM Royal Dutch Airlines have announced a new code share agreement for customers travelling between Australia and Holland. Qantas will add its code on KLM's daily flights between Singapore and Amsterdam, and KLM will add its code on Qantas flights between Singapore and Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane and Perth. Qantas frequent flyers will be able to earn points and status credits when travelling on the Qantas-coded flights between Singapore and Amsterdam. Eligible customers will be able to access the KLM lounge in Amsterdam, in addition to the Qantas lounges in Australia and Singapore. The new code share with KLM adds to Qantas's expanding code share network and follows recently announced code share agreements with Cathay Pacific, Air New Zealand and Air France. Virgin Australia has become the first airline outside North America to launch voice check-in through Amazon Alexa, allowing passengers to check into their flight with the power of their voice. Passengers who have linked their Velocity membership to Alexa can ask Alexa to check them in, enabling a seamless start to their journey with the airline. Guests will then be sent their boarding passes to a nominated mobile number. In addition to the new voice check-in capability, Virgin Australia passengers can obtain their flight departure time, velocity number, flight number and booking reference. Virgin Australia has also this week hosted the world's first dedicated meditation flight with founder Sir Richard Branson. Your Money was on board that flight and we'll have more on it right after this week's travel news. Cathay Pacific is set to boost flights to Adelaide with a 6th weekly flight taking off to Hong Kong from October 28, as well as providing the extra service, which will be operated by Airbus A330-300 aircraft. The airline will be introducing a new schedule to Adelaide, which sees 3 weekly flights departing Hong Kong overnight and 3 in the morning hours. From Adelaide, return flights will move from an early morning departure to afternoons and late evenings. Cathay Pacific is also increasing flights to Frankfurt, Madrid and Tokyo on the back of increased demand. In hotel news, Hyatt Hotels Corporation is set to acquire Two Roads Hospitality, one of the world's leading boutique and lifestyle chains, for $480 million. Virgin Australia's come up with a novel new way to keep passengers healthy and happy during the flight through a brand new in-flight meditation series available on the in-flight entertainment system. Your Money's Brooke Court was on the inaugural Maiden's End flight from Sydney yesterday and caught up with the pioneer of the airline, Sir Richard Branson.
Certainly when you think about flying, the word stress and anxiety might come to mind, but as you can see, there's none of that here. That's because we're on the world's first meditation flight. The very serious message from Richard Branson today, though, is about companies taking the issue of mental health and well-being seriously.
But in typical Branson style.
So who's ready to meditate? All right, let's get going. Cheers, thank you.
The man behind the Virgin brand played flight attendant for a bit, getting the passengers ready for a zen-tastic flight around Sydney.
If you feel comfortable, gently close your eyes and take a few slow, deep breaths, paying attention to any sensations you can feel.
All to mark a new partnership with not-for-profit mindfulness app Smiling Mind. It's developed some onboard meditation programs that Virgin hopes will help frazzled and anxious travellers. American Airlines has done something similar with Calm. Delta, United and a few others have partnered with an app called Headspace. So Richard seemed at peace during the flight. Even though once back on the ground, he admitted meditation is far from a daily habit for him.
Well, my son meditates. He also teaches yoga, and it seems to have done him a lot of good, and therefore I've got a very open mind to it, and I've met a lot of people who do meditate, and they definitely seem to benefit from it. So my own thing is I just love exercising. I mean, I love playing tennis or kite surfing or surfing or biking or whatever. But you know, I think the reason I was very supportive of this idea was I love learning new things, and I think at 30,000 feet sitting in an airline seat, there's not a lot to do. So if you can learn to meditate and not fall asleep, as I often do when I'm trying to learn, then I think it sounds like it could be really good for you.
Because it seems like quite a lot of the airlines are doing this type of thing. Why do you see this as something of value to your business? Because in the end, it is a business.
I think if you look after your people, your staff, your customers, then that's good for business. And I think it's a duty. You have a duty to look after people. And the reason that Virgin Australia and Virgin Atlantic and our other companies have survived so long is because we do things a little differently, and we do look after people.
Coming up after the break on Business Class, we hear from British Airways' new uniform designer, and we get the latest in hotel technology.
We'll be back with more Business Class on Your Money, and be sure to check out yourmoney.com.au. And now, more Business Class on Your Money.
British Airways has announced a partnership with Savile Row tailoring legend Oswald Boateng to design the uniforms for the airline's 30,000 staff. Let's find out more.
My name's Oswald Boateng. I'm the designer for the new BA uniform, and I'm very excited. I've been designing for over 30 years. I'm probably known in the world of fashion for the man who's modernized the traditional suit.
Setting up shop in Savile Row, the heart of London's upmarket tailoring, he made sure men's fashion would never be the same again.
Creative confidence is about you having 100% belief in what you're creating.
Part of my excitement is the challenge of creating something so new with such a well-known brand. What attracted to me to design a uniform really was the challenge of it. The number sounds like a lot, 32,000, and it's a sizable amount of stuff. 32,000 different points of view. That's an interesting challenge for me, but exciting challenge because it really gives me the opportunity to demonstrate my skills as a designer, you know. If the wearers are enjoying what they wear, then it's success. I'm not just going to approach it as a uniform. I'm actually going to approach it almost like a collection. I want to create a sort of personalized relationship between what I create and what the wearer experiences. It's always about the individual and create something very personal. I also want it to be a uniform that evolves over time. I just want to see it constantly moving, but in a very subtle form. And that's what I'd like to build into the collection. You're on the ground, you're in the air, you're a pilot. I want everyone feeling the experience of this uniform change and how it's affected them in such a way where they just go, this is really great. I feel really great about the brand. I feel really good about being at British Airways, and I want everyone to look at it and go, God, they look good. I mean, they look really good. I am very, very excited by the opportunity. I think we can have a lot of fun with this.
Accor Hotels is one of the most innovative companies in the travel space right now, and leading the digital team is Maud Bailey. We caught up with her to talk about hotel technology and much more. So tell us a bit about your role at Accor. You've got one of the more interesting roles in the hotel world, don't you?
Absolutely. Actually, I'm a CDO, Chief Digital Officer. Beyond the title, which actually doesn't mean a lot, we have to understand that in Accor Hotel, I'm in charge of 1,300 people working on IT, data, e-commerce, sales and distribution, and also customer guest experience.
Yeah.
So it's a very large and interesting indeed scope.
So how are you innovating the guest experience, or how are you changing the guest experience through innovation at the moment and through all that investment?
Well, actually, James, we think that personalization is going to be a key level of differentiation in our industry, which, as you know, is massively disrupted and digitalized. So to make a real difference, we are absolutely convinced that the difference is going to come from personalization and always more personalized experience for our guests. So for example, in 2018, we're going to launch and deploy at scale worldwide a new tool called ACDC, our core customer digital code. This tool is a very good example of digital as a service of guest experience. It's going to be a worldwide connected database, allowing our hotels, our 4,200 hotels in the field, to know our guests' preferences, so that we could always more personalize their stay and make sure we are increasing their satisfaction. For instance, you, James, I know you love green tea, you love to access the fitness space before starting your day. So I'm going to be preparing your stay, and I'm going to be able to offer you the most personalized experience to make sure you feel known, recognized, and yet you're going to get back. Because you know what our customers say is that, first of all, they love to be known and recognized.
Yeah, and when it comes to knowing the guests, I mean, a lot of it now is also coming from guests who are booking without touching anything, thanks to new tools like Alexa and things like that.
Yeah.
So it really is changing the landscape very fast, isn't it? But I guess, how are you doing that as well at the same time?
This is a really critical point, i.e., I'm calling it with my teams a behavioral watch. The thing is, for us, our industry is a paradox. Hospitality industry, we have been just celebrating the 50th birthday of our hotel, is an old industry. Powerful but old and not digital native industry, right? And honestly, you are not going to be able to digitalize your hospitality experience. You will have to travel, to get in a hotel, and to experience concretely what you're living, your stay. At the same time, our sector is one of the most disrupted ones. And what we're talking about with those Alexa or talking robot is about conversational era. My conviction is that we have to be able to anticipate this really moving fast environment, and we have also to understand what are going to be the new behaviors of our customers.
Yeah.
And for instance, conversational. I really think that within 2 or 3 years, the way you're going to book a request for a stay or travel experience is going to dramatically change. You are now typing a request on the internet. Tomorrow you may use more and more voice, and after tomorrow you may just really be in a conversational approach, i.e. you're going to be offered some experience because we're going to know you more and more, and we're going to be able to push you some offers which are fully meeting your habits or your preferences.
So it comes down to enhancing the experience before the guest books and then when they're actually in the hotel.
Exactly, it's a customer journey. And digital for me is just a mean, it's never an end. It's how to use this lever to empower the personalization experience. And as soon as I know you, I will be able to push you some offers which are meeting your expectation. And when you are entering the hotel, we are really focused on making sure you feel unique. As this is also our hotel motto, and making sure that we are really understanding your needs as clients.
From a digital standpoint, obviously you guys are enhancing the experience. How are you working with OTAs at the same time as well to keep growing that customer base?
Actually, we are working very well with OTAs. We are signing every day new contracts with OTAs to increase our international footprint. For me, the reality is that we are facing a new competition in a very digitalized industry. So OTAs are also key partners. We are just working on personalization to make sure that we are creating a dedicated environment enriched with new hospitality brands, but also new business acquisition, as you just saw it, with new businesses like John Paul, Fast Booking, Aval Pro, Hotel Chabot, everything we could use to enrich the customer experience in our hotels. And my purpose is to create a really attractive personalization environment, to create habits, preferences, and at the end of the day, stickiness from our customers, so that to make them come back to our core.
Now, when it comes to your role, is it just a techie role, so to speak?
I'm often asked the question, actually. For sure, you need to have some techie experiences and know what people are talking about when they're talking about IT architecture, infrastructure, data like chatbot, whatever. But the thing is, my conviction is that it's as not to be only a techie stuff. My role is also a cultural change, i.e. we are in a very fascinating and powerful organization, but it is not a digital native organization. So my role is also a very educational one, consisting into explaining to the others what is at stake with digital transformation, how we can help people to understand its challenges and make sure that the organization is getting more and more digitalized. It's not only my role, it's everyone's responsibility. So it's also a cultural transformation and a very educational approach. And this is also what makes the job that interesting.
Now let's check into one of the best airport hotels in the world, the Sofitel at London Heathrow. Adjacent to the home of British Airways at Terminal 5, Sofitel London Heathrow offers an ideal stay for travellers on a short trip to the capital or those looking to relax after a long flight from across the world. Here you'll find 605 well-appointed rooms and suites that blend high-end technology with elegant design. A plush bed, mini fridge, workspace, free Wi-Fi and soundproof windows are amongst some of the smart lifestyle touches. If you're travelling with the family or colleagues, book the 3-bedroom Imperial Suite, which features Swarovski bathrooms and a meeting and dining space. While we like the rooms and suites on offer, one of our favourite aspects of the hotel is the food and beverage, especially the French Asian cuisine found at La Belle Epoque, which also has the best wine list at Heathrow. The hotel is also home to 2 bars and an open kitchen restaurant. If you're looking for a space for a boardroom meeting, a video conference call, or a place to meet clients, Sofitel London Heathrow has 45 meeting spaces that are ideal for a catch-up before you jet out. There's also a hair salon, a state-of-the-art health spa, and a gym. To book, visit accorhotels.com. Coming up after the break, we talk travel with one of the entrepreneurs in the hotel space, John Spence.
We'll be back with more Business Class on Your Money. And now, more Business Class on Your Money.
Karma Resorts is one of the most popular resort brands for Australian travellers thanks to its key properties in Bali, Thailand and Europe. We found out what's on the expansion plan with the chairman and founder, John Spence. So John, we're here in the heart of London, and a lot of Australians are going to know your company from your resorts pretty much through Asia and obviously in Greece, but there's a lot more to Karma than just those 2 countries.
Oh, absolutely. We're now up to 30 resorts. Over the last 4 years, we've been expanding a lot over here in Europe. We see Europe as a great growth market. Whether it be Australians or it be Southeast Asians or indeed anyone all over the world, they all want to come to Europe. And as an acquisition point of view at the moment, Europe's a great time to buy. There are some beautiful properties on the market that we can pick up at a great price into some iconic destinations. We as a company always believe in buying what we call brand destinations, as in destinations that everyone knows about. So in the last few years, we have a property here in London, Karma Sanctum, which is a joint venture with our friends, the band Iron Maiden, which is just down the road in Soho. We have a beautiful property we've just acquired in Tuscany called Borgo de Colleoni, which is equidistant between Pisa, Florence, Lucca and San Gimignano. Couldn't be better placed. Iconic sort of Tuscan Chianti feel. Over in Greece, we now have 2 properties in Crete. We're opening up in Mykonos quite soon, and we're looking at add more properties over there. My most recent acquisition, literally about 2 weeks ago, was in Normandy, just outside Paris, right on the Seine. It has 200 meters of Seine frontage. It's by Rouen, the medieval city. It's an hour and 20 minutes to get into Paris. We have properties in Germany, Karma Bavaria, just outside Munich, which is a beautiful ski resort. We're looking at properties elsewhere in Europe. We've got a chateau in Carcassonne. We've obviously got our property just outside Saint-Tropez, the Laura Ashley estate. We have properties in the country here. So in general sense, we're still developing in Asia, we're still developing in Australia, we're in Rottnest, in Margaret River, and we also love that part of the world. But to me, Europe at the moment is a great opportunity to acquire assets. It is a place that people want to go, whether they're Australian or Asians, and we can bring the calmer philosophy, the je ne sais quoi, the five-star hippie, to iconic properties that are based over here.
And you've also got a few different models of your business as well. You've got obviously the villa ownership, but you've also then just got regular hotel guests who want to come and enjoy your facilities.
Absolutely. I mean, we operate very much what we call mixed use. All our properties are a combination of some of the, if you were to go to one of my properties now and you sat by the pool or you sat in the bar, you'd meet people who are long-term club members that have been with us for 25 years. You'd meet people who are joining up on a more recent pay-as-you-go plan where we sell an annual membership at $4.99 that gives people discount to come and stay in our resorts. You'd meet some people who are there just for a one-night basis. You'd meet some people that have bought a suite or a villa or a room or some kind of real estate transaction. So we're very keen on being all-inclusive about the people that can stay with us. We are primarily a private members club, and I always stress that, and our main core business is attracting people into our club. We have 85,000 people now in our club, our members club, but it is possible to stay on a one-night basis. We would hope you stay one night and you want to stay a lot longer and you'll join our club, but there are many different forms of people staying at our resorts, yes.
And if you look at the concept here, you're now in London, obviously that's fantastic for you. You're looking at other big cities, LA, New York, Hong Kong, Singapore, given the demand for urban areas as well?
No, absolutely. I mean, the Karma Sanctum product in London is based on what we think to be an authentic rock hotel. I think there's a huge gap in the market. I used to be in the music business myself. A number of years ago, I came across my old friends who manage and are in the band Iron Maiden, who've been in the business for a long, long time. With them, we started our first one in London. It is like, we think it's like the Hard Rock Hotel, but with authenticity. So it's not run by a group of accountants that are trying to make it like a rock and roll hotel. It's run by rock and rollers. And so it's got guitars on the wall and a great all-night bar on the roof and all sorts of funky stuff happening. Our plan is to open up similar hotels in Miami and Los Angeles and New York over the next few years. In all of them, we're going to look for rock icons as figureheads. We're talking with Roger Taylor from Queen at the moment to be one of those for our next hotels. So urban hotels we like the look of. I would stress it's very different from most developers' urban hotels. These are all quite small, 30, 40, 50 rooms. They will be owned and operated by us. They won't be more the investment model that a lot of people operate on, but we do like the idea of developing the Karma Sanctum brand and going to the major metros.
30, 40 rooms sounds about as much as I can ever think for a Karma resort, going back to the days where you and I first met in Bali at Karma Kandara. I think one of the most popular resorts in Bali for Australians still to this day.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, having said that, though, Karma Kandara has grown. It's now 80 villas, and when we finish developing the land behind, which we are doing now, it'll be up to 150. We still like the boutique space. I don't see us ever playing in the 500-room large hotel space. I like the hotel to be big enough that there's scale to provide the amenities, whether it be the bars, the restaurants, the gyms, the clubs. But equally, I like it to be small enough that there's a sense of community and a sense of ownership. So our sweet spot, I guess, is probably more like 40 to 50 rooms these days. That's what we'd look at as being the optimum size. Rarely more than 100. We do have a couple of resorts more than 100, but most of them aren't, and rarely less than about 30, because then it becomes a little difficult to provide the amenities and the facilities that you'd like to.
Also from a service standpoint, right, John, I think when you go into a 500-room hotel, sometimes the offering of what you guys offer in big cities would be actually quite challenging for you.
It would be a nightmare. I mean, look, I'm in no way critical of that model, but it is a different model. I mean, I personally, when I travel, either for leisure or for business, try and stay clear of hotels that are too big, because it's always going to be a cookie-cutter approach, and that's fine. I say I'm not criticising that segment of the business, but as I always say, and I'm here in London to speak at a conference tomorrow, and I'll be saying then, we are not in the lodging business. We're in the entertainment business. And my job, like Walt Disney, my job is to provide entertainment for our clients, whether it be a great restaurant, a great bar, a great kids club, a great spa, whether it be alternative therapies, whether making our own wine or our own olive oil, having our own DJs. Our job is to entertain people and make them feel that they're in a bit of a glorified house party or living a lifestyle. It's virtually impossible to do that when you've got a 500-room hotel.
And so you must be very happy then with the global growth of boutique and lifestyle hotels, because that's promoting more of your sector at the same time.
Absolutely. I mean, on one side I'm very happy because it promotes what we're trying to do, and on the other side I like it because I can stay in nice hotels when I travel that are what I want to be in. So absolutely. And I think there's a trend. I think a lot of people more and more are moving away from wanting to be in the mass market large hotels and wanting to be somewhere a little bit unique, a bit more bespoke.
Well, that's it from us on Business Class this week. Thanks for watching and see you next time.